Finding an affordable apartment in the city is nearly impossible. So when I saw a listing for a one-bedroom in downtown for half the market rate, I knew something was wrong with it. I just didn't know how wrong. The landlord said it was such a good deal because it had been vacant for a while, and he needed to fill it quickly. No red flags in the inspection, no pest problems, no previous tenant complaints. Because according to him, there were no previous tenants. I was the first. But the mail told a different story.
I moved in on a Saturday. The apartment was exactly as advertised. Small but clean, older building but well-maintained. Nothing fancy, but perfectly livable. The landlord gave me the keys, had me sign the lease, and left. I was unpacking boxes when I heard something slide under the door. Mail. 3 envelopes pushed through the mail slot. 2 were for me, a welcome packet from the building management and a coupon flyer. The 3rd was addressed to someone named Marcus Webb, apartment 4B. My apartment. I figured it was just mail from before the apartment was vacant, taking a while to clear out of the system. I'd write return to sender and drop it back in the mailbox tomorrow. But the postmark was from yesterday, not months ago when the apartment was supposedly empty. Yesterday.
I went downstairs and knocked on the building manager's office. "Excuse me, do you know who Marcus Webb is? I got some mail for him." The manager, an older woman named Carol, frowned. "Marcus Webb? No one by that name in this building. You sure it's addressed to 4B? I showed her the envelope. She examined it, confused. "That's strange. 4B has been vacant for 8 months. You're the first tenant since the renovation. Must be a mail sorting error. Has anyone named Marcus Webb ever lived here?" She pulled up records on her computer, scrolling back years. "No Marcus Webb in our system, not in any unit. Are you sure you didn't have mail forwarded here by mistake?"
I didn't know any Marcus Webb. I'd never heard the name before in my life. The mail kept coming. Every day, at least one piece addressed to Marcus Webb. Bills, mostly, credit card statements, medical invoices, a notice from the DMV about a license renewal, all sent to apartment 4B, all dated recently, all treating Marcus Webb like he currently lived here. I opened one of the credit card statements. I know, illegal, but I was losing my mind trying to figure out who this person was. The statement showed recent charges, purchases from last week, a grocery store 3 blocks from my building, a coffee shop I passed every morning, a pharmacy I'd been to once. Marcus Webb was shopping at the same places I shopped, in the same neighborhood, at the same times, according to the timestamps. I looked him up online. No social media profiles, no LinkedIn, no public records. It was like Marcus Webb didn't exist outside of this mail. Then the packages started arriving. First, a box from Amazon, clothes in my size, books I'd been meaning to buy but hadn't ordered yet, a laptop charger identical to mine that had broken last week.
All addressed to Marcus Webb. All containing things I needed. I stopped opening the mail. I started marking everything returned to sender and leaving it in the outgoing mail. But the envelopes came back undeliverable. No forwarding address, no such person at this location. Yet they kept arriving. One evening, I came home to find a handwritten letter on my doorstep. No stamp, no postmark, just my apartment number and a name. Marcus Webb. I opened it with shaking hands. The handwriting was familiar. Too familiar. It looked exactly like mine. The letter read, "Stop returning my mail. I live here too. I've always lived here. You just couldn't see me until now. Check the closet in the bedroom, 2nd shelf. Behind the winter coats you haven't unpacked yet. You'll find my things. You'll find proof. And you'll understand that this was never your apartment. You're just borrowing it. From me, Marcus." I wanted to ignore it.
I wanted to throw it away and pretend I'd never read it, but I went to the bedroom closet anyway. I pulled out the winter coats I'd hung up when I moved in. Behind them, on the second shelf, was a box I didn't remember putting there. Inside, a wallet with Marcus Webb's driver's license. The photo was my face. Same eyes, same hair, same expression, but the name was different. A journal filled with handwriting identical to mine, detailing a life I'd never lived. Entries about a job I didn't have, friends I'd never met, experiences I'd never had. And photos, dozens of photos of this apartment, my apartment. But in the photos, the furniture was different, the decorations were different, the person living here was different. Yet the person in the photos looked exactly like me.
Carol, you need to see this. There was a previous tenant, Marcus Webb. This is his stuff, his ID, his journal. You need to tell me what happened to him.
She looked at the driver's license, and her face went pale.
Where did you get this? It was in my apartment, hidden in the closet. You said no one lived there before me, but clearly someone did. Marcus Webb did. So what happened to him? Did he die? Did he disappear? Why didn't you tell me? Carol was shaking. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. This man, Marcus Webb, he's not in our records. But that face. She turned her computer monitor toward me. On the screen was a lease application. My lease application. The one I'd filled out 3 weeks ago. But the name on the application wasn't mine. It said, Marcus Webb.
The signature was mine. The handwriting was mine. But the name was different. You signed this as Marcus Webb, Carol whispered. I processed your application under that name. I gave you keys to apartment 4B under that name. All your documentation says Marcus Webb. That's impossible. My name isn't Marcus Webb. Look at my ID. I pulled out my wallet and grabbed my driver's license. The photo was me. The information was me. Everything was correct, except the name. It said Marcus Webb.
I ran back to my apartment and tore through every document I owned. Passport, birth certificate, social security card, bank statements. Every single one said Marcus Webb. But I remembered my real name. I remember my whole life before this apartment. My family, my childhood, my identity. None of it was Marcus Webb. Yet according to every piece of documentation in existence, I was Marcus Webb. I had always been Marcus Webb. I lived in apartment 4B for 8 months. The same 8 months, Carol said the apartment had been vacant.
I called my mom. Mom, it's me. Tell me my name. Please just tell me my name. There was a long pause. Marcus, are you okay? You sound upset. No, that's not my name. Tell me my real name. Marcus Webb, what's going on? Are you having some kind of episode? Should I come over? I hung up, called my best friend, same thing. Called my workplace, same thing. Everyone in my life knew me as Marcus Webb. Everyone except me. I sat in the apartment, Marcus Webb's apartment, and tried to make sense of it. Had I had a psychotic break? Created a false identity? Forgotten who I really was?
Or had something else happened? Something impossible? Had I somehow become Marcus Webb by moving into this apartment? Had the space itself overwritten who I was, replaced me with whoever was supposed to live here? I found one more letter that night, slipped under my door while I sat spiraling in the living room. Same handwriting, same signature. Now you understand. This apartment doesn't have tenants. It has a resident, a permanent resident, a name that never changes, even when the face does. You weren't the first to move in here thinking you were someone else. You won't be the last. The lease is for life. Marcus Webb's life, which is now your life. Welcome home, Marcus Webb.
I still live in apartment 4B. I still get mail addressed to Marcus Webb. I still sign documents with that name. Because, according to everyone but me, that's who I am. That's who I've always been. Sometimes I try to tell people my real name, the name I remember from before I moved here. But when I try to say it, nothing comes out. The words catch in my throat. And when I write it down, my hand forms different letters, letters that spell Marcus Webb. I've looked into the building's history. Apartment 4B has existed for 70 years, and for 70 years, according to fragmentary records I've pieced together, it's been occupied by someone named Marcus Webb.
Different faces in old tenant photos, different signatures on ancient leases, but always the same name. The apartment doesn't change tenants. It changes people into the tenant. I don't know what happens to who we were before. I don't know if my real identity is gone forever or just buried somewhere deep. All I know is that I'm Marcus Webb now. I've been Marcus Webb for 8 months. And someday, when I finally move out, if I ever move out, someone else will move in. Someone with their own name, their own identity, their own life. And within weeks, they'll become Marcus Webb too.
The apartment has already started getting mail for them. I saw it yesterday. An envelope addressed to future resident of 4B, soon to be Marcus Webb. The postmark was dated 3 months from now. The apartment knows who's coming next. It's already preparing to change them, just like it changed me.